Hi everyone, it's Sue here from Scrappy Doo Sue. I've come on today to do episode 51 of the Margarete Miller's 52-week collage challenge. Now I'm not sure if I'm slightly ahead because this will go up next week beginning the 13th of December, and then 52 will go up week beginning the 20th. And obviously, you know, there's 1 week left in December then, so it's possible I'm a week ahead. I'm not too sure, but anyway, I'm going to do 51 today. So I'm doing them in this A5 notebook for any new subscribers who haven't been watching, and one sheet to a week. So here we have previous ones. They're all very eclectic. So what you do is you get, it's hashtag CW Planner 51. You get 5 prompts and you get a bonus prompt, and you can substitute the bonus for one of the 5, or you can use all 6. It's up to you. So the 5 are something underlined in red, a form or portion of a form, a stitching pattern sewn, drawn or stamped, a portion of a postcard either side, washi tape, and the bonus is something that sits on a table. So I think I found all. The only one I haven't got is something underlined in red. So I'm just going to underline some book text in red. And then a stitching pattern sewn, drawn or stamped. I don't have a stitching pattern on a stamp, and I don't have a drawn, obviously drawn one, but I'm not too sure whether that means, do we mean like a pattern that you've perhaps make a skirt or a top out of, or is it a stitch? So if it's a stitch, I have this old embroidery book, and it's called, I think I got it in a charity shop. It's a lovely old book. It's called Discovering Embroidery. And that's how the cover looked when I bought it. It's obviously been on someone's shelf in the sun. And this was actually a prize, an Inner London Education Prize, presented to Carol Lyons for needlework in her school in Gloucester in 1966. Isn't that lovely? Sadly, I've been chopping it up, but it has got lots of simple stitches in it, and it shows you how to do complicated ones like that. So I've taken a page out of that, and that's my interpretation of it. So we've got running stitch, we've got a whipped running stitch, we've got, let's have a look. I took the whole signature out. This book was first published in 1955, so originally it was older than me. And so I've taken the page that just says simple stitches, running stitch, whipped running stitch, and it shows you how to do it, and that's what I'm going to put on mine. So that's that. So I've got a book called The 1900s Lady, and the pages are all this colour, although I suspect it's not as old as it looks. So I'm going to just underline 1 or 2 lines in this and put that on. So that's my interpretation again. A form or a portion of a form. Now I had a form here. Let me see, what have I done with it? Now I've gone and buried it somewhere. So I have, it's kind of been shrunken down, but this is a Ryan Dairy order form here. So it's not actually an order form, it's an account form that you would fill in for somebody who's bought your, maybe a regular customer, and you would, you know, fill out what they've had and that. So it's kind of like a bill, really, a bill in a form state. Okay, so we're going to use that. And then a portion of a postcard either side. I have this again, shrunken down little postcard, which is really sweet and very pretty, and it's white on the back, so obviously I'm going to be using the postcard side, and I just liked it with the roses on. Washi tape, I'm going to be using my lovely advertisement washi tape, which is a lovely colour, vintage style. And the something that sits on a table, the bonus, is going to be this table lamp, which I got out of my collage book, so I have to cut round that. So that's, let's get started. So the first thing I always do with this white lined paper notebook is we're just using one A5 sheet, and I'm using some of my VersaFine vintage sepia and a brush, and I'm just going to distress around the edges. And I can see when the last one I did, I sprayed some of the sprays on for the background, and it's seeped through a bit onto here, but that doesn't matter too much because that's actually going to be covered up with our collage. So I hope you can see me okay, and I hope the light's all right. It's afternoon here, and it's been a nice cold but bright sunshiny day. Let's just put that away. I've got a very itchy nose. I don't know why. I don't know what that means. Okay. So let's go with this something underlined in red. I'll move the book across there for a moment. So I'm going to take my ruler, which I've now buried under the book, and take this edge off here, which is a lovely colour, so I think I'll probably keep that. More scraps. Let's see, let's take this scrappy edge off where I had to sort of tear it out of this book. It's all about the 1900 lady. I'll just show you it. It's quite curious. I bought it in a charity shop. As I say, I don't actually think it's old. It may have originally have been, but it's this one here. It's called the Edwardian Lady, and it's Edwardian High Society from 1900 to 1914, and this is the colour of it. Isn't it lovely? And it's got some lovely black and white pages in it with pictures, illustrations, which, you know, if you were making something in this period, you could use these, some of these, as book pages and all sorts of things. Journal cards, that's a lovely one. It's all about, and these are, some of them are kind of in just kind of a bluey black. This page is all about courtship, so obviously in those days, you know, and look at these, all these ladies, you could cut those out. In those days, things had to be done properly, you know. But I'm just going to look, see if I can see when this book was actually published. So it was first published in 1976, so not old. This particular edition was first published in 1979, but it's obviously been taken from, you know, real life things, and some of the pictures are kind of a reddy sepia. Look at those. But I think it's lovely, and I love the pages, and they're a nice, these are a nice size. They've got a really wide margin here, but you know, they would make good book pages, I think, for a journal, although they're not very thick. But yeah, that's where that's come from. Just pop that down on the floor. Okay, let's go and take this bottom edge off now. After saying I'm underlining something in red, I haven't even looked to see if my red pen is up here. Aha, here we have a red pen. Let's find a scrap of paper. Excuse me sniffing, I don't know whether I'm getting cold or what. Oh yes, that's fine. I'm just going to underline something in red on this when we decide whether we're going to make this the whole background. So I'm going to take a bit off the top here, like so. It's talking on this page about the fact that parents would go away for weeks or months at a time if the father had kind of interest that took him abroad or on a round of country house visits of social importance. But always there was Nanny, permanent, secure, pouring out her inexhaustible flow of monetary wisdom. It was rude to point, it would all end in tears, a bit should be left for Miss Manners, if you wanted any more you could have a plain piece of bread and butter. Patience and perseverance brought the snail to Jerusalem. All joints on the table were to be carved, so take your elbows off at once. Those who asked didn't get, and those who didn't ask didn't want. Somebody had got out of bed the wrong side, and it was high time to go up the wooden hill to Bedfordshire. Now, my father used to say that to us. It's time to go up the wooden hill to Bedfordshire. Isn't that funny? Yeah, I quite like the thought of actually putting that all on the back. I really like that page. So let's just have a look. So we've got the postcard here, and we've got our form, and we've got our stitches. So we could, let's take the book to one side, and let's keep the title. I'll just take that out of there. So there's some more book pages to make things out of on another day. I'm just going to cut this down, tear it down rather, with the ruler. We're going to have a tearing day today. I won't keep those. There's got to be a limit to what you keep. Okay, so that's that. So I'm just looking now to see where it's all going to fit on here. Of course, we've got our washi, but washi is quite see-through. So then we've got our item that sits on a table. So I'm just going to cut this out. It's quite sad to come to the end of these 52-week collage challenges. They really do make you think, and of course you have to find all the bits, you know, the assignment pieces, all the prompts, and that can be quite a challenge in itself. I try not to print things from the internet if I can help it, because I think, you know, for me, part of the challenge is thinking outside the box and trying to use what I've got, even if it's from a magazine. So yeah, it's been quite a challenge at times, but I'm going to miss it. I am actually doing, alongside this now, Margarete Miller's December Christmas collage. So it's hashtag Xmas collage, and that started, it's a daily one, so that started on the 1st of December and runs right up until, I think it's New Year's Day. Try not to look too far ahead in it. I try and concentrate on the day in hand. So there, if I can get that trimmed down a little bit more in there. Excuse Paddy, I don't know what he's growling about. The postman's been. I've had no end of couriers up and down today. But it is coming up to Christmas, so, you know, I'm sure most people are the same where they live. So let's ink round some of this. He just doesn't think anyone should be outside, even the neighbours. I can't hear anyone. Dogs do have good hearing. This is actually Friday afternoon, my non-working day, 10th of December. So this is going to go up next week, this collage. And Daddy finishes earlier on a Friday, and to be quite honest, Paddy knows when he's on his way home, and he will be on alert, getting excited a good half an hour before he actually arrives. And that's amazing, because we've got a tracker on each other's phone, so I know where he is on the road and he would know where I was. So it lets him know, for instance, if I've gone into the office when I've arrived, you know, it lets him know when I'm pulling up on the drive, so to speak. But I look him up sometimes when Paddy starts getting excited, just out of curiosity, and he could be, you know, well, he doesn't live, it doesn't work that far away, to be quite honest. Now he got a job a couple of years ago nearer to home, so that's good. So it takes him, I think, about 20 minutes or so on a good day to get there. So Paddy always knows when he's around about 15 minutes away. He knows he started out. It's amazing. But our other dog, Minnie, she was beautiful, lovely little girl. Sadly passed away when she was 16 and a half, but she used to be exactly the same. She would know where he was, what he was, you know, when he was coming home. So I still want to put that there, so I'm just going to underline a few things here. So I think I'm going to underline high time to go up the wooden hill to Bedfordshire, because that reminds me of my dad. Bless him. Let's see. Let's underline a couple more things. Let's underline parents were usually remote and left nanny to it. Imagine that, hardly ever seeing your mum and dad and having a nanny, and not always, I would imagine, having a nanny that's very loving. Some of them were quite strict, I think. So it says here, sometimes one's mother came into the nursery for a few minutes in the morning to coo over her offspring and then rustle away again. And every afternoon when they were at home, both parents would receive their children in the drawing room for an hour after tea. Children unnaturally clean, brushed, polite, the little girls filled up, shepherded downstairs for a short time into a grown-up world. If the parents were loving and demonstrative, the children would thaw out, begin to romp and show off. If any of the dogs had got into the drawing room, the children would flop down on the rug to hug and pat them. At the end of the hour, Nanny would whisk the children away upstairs again, no doubt to the relief of some parents. Imagine a world like that. You know, goodness me, I can't imagine it at all. I was one of 6, so we didn't have that formality in our house, I could tell you now. Mind you, we weren't growing up in the Edwardian era. I'm not that old. I just underline, let's see, occasionally mother might come quickly into the night nursery. So they had a day nursery and a night nursery before setting out for a ball or a dinner party when the family was in town. Gosh, what a life. So there, I've underlined a few things in red. We try not to cover those over. Okay, so that's what I've done because I don't have anything underlined in red. Okay, so we'll have a little lamp down here, maybe as if it's on a table, so you can still see the red. There's a postcard behind it, maybe. This is getting harder and harder to hold these down because this is on a slope now. And perhaps we will put that up here, and then we've got our stitching, and that's it really, and then our washi. So I think maybe this washi, this sewing I may chop in half. So I'm trying to do that without moving the book. Right. Goodness me, what is going on? This is difficult. This is quite thick, this book page, for this embroidery book. I don't know. Doesn't seem to want to tear very easily. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with that. And I think Paddy knows Daddy's probably on his way home, but he was going to call in to his elderly aunt on the way because she lives in a village, an Oxford village. So on the way, kind of on the way home, really. He was going to take her Christmas card and see how she is, because she's 92, I think, and not been very well, and not as active as she used to be, bless her. So he thought he'd go and pop in and see her on the way home. We bought her a new telephone, landline telephone, for Christmas, because she when Dara's mum rings her from Ireland, the phone keeps cutting out. So, and she's had it years, so we think that it's one of those that you have a base and you put it back on the base to charge, but after a few years the battery doesn't charge really. So I think I'm going to do that because I like it, and I'm going to put washi on the rest of it. So that's kind of what I've decided to do. So let's get the glue out. I think we probably need to use something stronger than my torn that a little bit, but it won't matter once it's glued down. My glue stick I don't think will stick all of this down, so yeah, so hopefully he'll find Auntie Joan, you know, okay. She does like seeing him. So well, she's kind of his great aunt really, but his mum spent a lot of time over in the UK when she was growing up with Joan and her family. So she kind of looks upon her, you know, more of a kind of, I think Marion, my mother-in-law, was the daughter Joan never had, because she had 3 sons. So yeah, so it's sad, isn't it, when people... I haven't even put this page on. Have you noticed? I've just realised. I'm getting carried away. You know what that is? That's talking too much. Honestly, I could talk for England sometimes. I used to have a nickname when I was a little girl. Growing up, I was only about 5 or 6. And my dad's boss would call me Talking Tommy. So nothing's changed since then, has it? I am quite quiet actually, but once you get me started, there's no stopping me really, unfortunately. You could turn the sound off though. Yeah, we won't have it right to the edge of the... So that's not quite straight, but I don't know if I can... Oh, I can get it up. Okay, let's get that down. Let's give it a little shush over with this. I think the glue might be coming through actually. Goodness. Yeah, it doesn't like anything stuck to it. Look what's happened there. Right, we'd better get that back down and cover that area back up. It is a funny sort of paper the way it's been printed, this, so hopefully it's not going to be a disaster. That's better. Okay, yeah, I can see the glue's coming through, but there's nothing I can do now. I didn't expect that to happen, so I use that glue all the time. So I'm going to overlap this postcard. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. Oh, I feel like I've got some funny cold or something. Definitely not COVID. I've done a lateral flow, so I know it's not anything to do with that. We have to do them fortnightly. Oh, what am I saying? Every couple of days or twice a week, whatever, you know. Don't know why I said fortnightly. That's not much good, is it? No, well, twice a week we'll say. So I have done one today, funnily enough, because I keep forgetting. I'm liking that. Right, then I'm going to mirror that down here with this. I'm going to put that down here. I was just reading another bit on there. It's very interesting. Should have read the book really before I started tearing pages out. Miss Ponsonby. Well, that's a very, you know, posh sounding name, isn't it? Leela. So I've underlined a few things in red. I think that will be perfectly adequate. Okay. Right, so far we have something underlined in red. So we have the page, the book page, with various pieces underlined in red. The form here. We have stitching instructions here, and we have a postcard here. As it's only a tiny one, I've put the whole thing on. And then we have the lamp that sits on a table, and then the only other thing is washi. So I thought, what did I think? We could put some washi on. I was going to cut a section. So it's in sections of advertisements, or adverts as I call them. So I thought I'd join up maybe those there. That's a bit wrinkled. like so. Some of it might need a little bit of glue on the end because that was the end that was here. And then maybe we'll have another piece up here, I think, perhaps. So I think maybe I'll have to underline a couple more things in red. So there's kind of lines between the adverts, which is quite handy. So I'm going to put that there, like so. And just to prove that I have underlined things, I'm going to underline a couple of other words. So, the sort of thing I used to do when I was revising for exams at school and what have you. Key things to remember. And then on the day of the exam, totally forget everything that you ever saw or heard, really, through fear. Okay, so it's 52, so I'd like to, no it isn't, Susan, it's 51. So I would like to find a 5 and a 1 if I can. Okay, it's time for the label box to come out. Now, we haven't seen this for a while. So you haven't seen me rummaging through this for a good while. So, you know, something like that would have been excellent if it had 51 on it. Let's see, have I got anything with lots of numbers? I've got 26 cents. I know there are some things in here kind of number wise. So let's just have a quick flick through. I'm sure I saw something in here that says 79 cents. I've seen something in here recently, I'm sure, that had various numbers on it. So let's have a look. These, actually, I just don't know if we've got a 5 and a 1. Got a 0, 2, 7, 4, 1. We've got 1. Have we got a 5? Yes, we have a 5. They're absolutely perfect. Put those back, because last time I left them on my desk and I knocked them off on the floor and they went everywhere, and all the tiny little ones just went everywhere. So this is 51. I'm just going to make those a little bit smaller. Are they kind of lined up? They are. So if I cut across these have got red lines on, funnily enough. We'll keep those bits, I think. I like those. And again, are they lined up at the bottom? They are. So I know if I hold them together and cut that red line, they're going to be okay. So Daddy's pacing up and down, so obviously he knows Daddy's in his car, or Daddy's maybe on his way back from Auntie Jones, I don't know, because she doesn't kind of have visitors for too long, you know. I thought maybe we could, let's see, what does that look like there? 51, that's quite nice. That's really the focal point, isn't it, I guess? Why not? Let's put them on, I think. Do we want them on the back of anything to give them a bit more interest? I'll just get my webbing. I'll just knock something else down now. Despite the fact that I've tidied this room up, it doesn't take long for it to kind of get untidy again. When I'm busy, I have a tendency to keep things out that I think I'm going to need for the next video and that sort of thing. So I think we'll put them there. So say we have them that kind of width, we only need this much. And I'm just going to hold it under the desk in the bin and chop off, snip into it, just so that we haven't got like hard edges. I don't always do this. It really depends on what I'm doing with it. So if we kind of have that there, and we have 5 and the 1 there. $51. But I like that. Okay. Okay, so glue. Yeah, it's okay. I think we've got enough things underlined, enough words. I do like it when things come together. It's when you have to put really odd things on, I don't know, I find it a little bit difficult. I'm just holding that up to see if that's straight. Okay, and then this one. And I think I'll overlap that, mash up those lines. Just check that's as straight as the other one. I think so. Okay, so there we have it, week 51. I'm just going to pin the glue. Just being very temperamental at the moment, but I want to get some more art glitter glue and what have you, but I think I'll wait till after Christmas now. Okay, so we'll recap. So hashtag CW Planner 51, something underlined in red, so I've underlined this book page. A form or a portion, we have a form here, dairy form. A stitching pattern sewn, drawn or stamped, so I've taken stitching instructions out of my embroidery book. I don't know if that's the right thing. I don't think there are any rules really. A portion of a postcard either side, so we've got this little miniature postcard which is very cute. Washi tapes, we've got our vintage style advertisement washi, and the bonus is something that sits on a table, and I found this lovely kind of vintage brass looking table lamp that would sit on a table, hence the name. Okay, so I'm just going to write on here at the top, as I always do, hashtag, if this paper doesn't blot like blotting paper, hashtag CW Planner 51. And that is it. So we have only got, hold on, I think the batteries run out. Right, I'm really sorry about that. I was waffling on, and when I looked up at the camera I realised that it had gone completely blank. So I just plugged in the charger and it's come back. So hopefully you didn't miss much, but all I did was I recapped on the hashtag CW Planner 51. So it was something underlined in red. We have this book page underlined in red, a form or a portion here, dairy form, a stitching pattern, sewn, drawn or stamped. Well, I've got stitching and how to do it. A portion of a postcard. I've got this little mini one here. Washi tape. We've got the vintage style advertisement washi, and something that sits on a table is the bonus, and I've got a table lamp. And then I was just writing hashtag CW Planner 51 up there when it went off, so I apologise for that, and I will see you again soon. So thanks for joining me, and we've got the weekend to look forward to. Well, today I have, but by the time you see this we'll be, well, I usually put this up on a Thursday, I think it is, so I will, yeah, on Thursday. So by the time you see this we'll be coming to the end of another week. Anyway, I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.